Hey, I'm Guy Powell, and welcome to the next episode of the Backstory on Marketing and AI. And of course, if you haven't already done so, definitely go to prorelevant.com and sign up for all of these episodes and podcasts. As you know, I am the author of the up-and-coming book, The AI Marketing Machine, hopefully out in the next couple months, and these interviews are a big part of that. But if you'd like to find out more information on the book itself and some of the early thinking, please go to marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. Today, we've got a really great guest, and her name is Amber Gage, and she's with Far Beyond Marketing, and definitely looking forward to hearing her perspectives. She's done a lot in AI, but before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a certified story brand guide, an international best-selling author. That's awesome. Keynote speaker, marketing strategist, and her expertise in marketing is with trade industries and transforming the way plumbers, HVAC technicians, roofers, and other trade professionals grow their businesses. It's fascinating how many different segments of the market there are, whether you're a big business or a small trade professional like she's been working with. So her new book, she has a new book called The Far Beyond Marketing Guidebook. Stop being duped by ineffective marketing. Man, oh man, we all definitely need that. And its companion e-course, empowering trade professionals to take charge of their marketing strategies and achieve measurable results. Her proprietary 4 C's of effective marketing framework, it's based on copy, consistent branding, customer demographics, and channel management. And that simplifies marketing for busy entrepreneurs, enabling them to stand out, attract qualified leads, and certainly to grow sustainably. And that is critical for any businesses to grow and grow sustainably. Amber, welcome. So good to have you.
I am so thrilled to be here, Guy. Thank you so much for that kind introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. What you're doing is just, it's so fascinating and very interesting to help those kind of businesses to really grow. And there's certainly a lot that marketing can do for them. So tell us your backstory. How did you get into AI and marketing?
It's interesting. I fell into marketing through our family businesses. We grew up in an entrepreneurial household, and my father was a plumber, and my mother was a businesswoman. And so after I graduated from college, I came back and worked in the businesses and had grown up in the businesses as a child. And so I had to learn how to make the phones ring. Otherwise, we didn't get the sales that we needed. It was just a little bit of pressure to figure it out. And up until that point in time, there really had not been a lot of systemization around the marketing. We were a family owned and operated company. We would throw it up against the wall and see if it stuck. We would try different things. And being an analytically minded person, I knew that there had to be a system. So I created a process, created a budget, created a system, held every dollar accountable, because when you're in a family business, boy, is there a light on your shoulders. Like, what are you doing? There's a lot of pressure there, no nepotism, just make sure it works, right? And then simultaneous to growing our family businesses, I had the opportunity to grow my own business. And that ended up being a lead generating agency for home service companies. I was very privileged to start with no customers and no revenue, but within 5 years, that company scaled and I sold it to private equity. And then from there, I became a national brand president, a CIO, and oversaw a lot of technology conversion projects, a lot of marketing projects, systemization for hub and spoke manufacturing companies across the United States, national brands, franchises, and just really found my heart and love and passion for entrepreneurs, because I knew that there was a way to provide enterprise level technology and marketing to a localized business. And so that's what my team and I do today at Far Beyond Marketing. We want to be far beyond marketing. We want to be advocates, we want to be servant leaders, and we want to be a safe place for entrepreneurs to come and plan how to systematically scale their businesses.
Well, and that is so critical, being able to grow and grow sustainably and keep that growth going. It's so important for any business, but certainly also for smaller businesses. If there's a slight downturn or whatever happens where the marketing doesn't pay off, the business really can suffer in a big way.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And every dollar matters when you're self-employed. You can eat or you can put it in a campaign. I mean, these are hard decisions and they should be thought about really carefully.
Yeah, how true, how true. You know, it's so funny because when you work for a big company, it's somebody else's money. It's not my money. It's just a budget that I get to spend. But as an entrepreneur for a small business, it is my money. And I want to make sure that absolutely I'm getting something for it.
Absolutely, right? It's personal and it should be. It should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you've come up with the four C's of marketing. I'm somebody that loves the four P's and the three C's, and everybody has their stuff, but it's nice to be able to put it into a concise framework like that. Tell us about that and what they are, and then how businesses can use that to improve their strategies and execution.
Sure. So, across my 20 years plus experience of marketing, I found that if I could systemize marketing for my clients in a way that blessed their businesses, that they were happier, they had more peace of mind. And I would test different aspects of the four C's. And what I found was that when applied in this order, inevitably, the marketing would always scale and the business would grow. So, the foundational first C that is so critical, Guy, is clear copy. Are you, as a business, talking about your products or services in a way that your ideal client understands, sees what you do, and wants to work with you? Are you conveying your unique selling position? And are you talking about their problems and how you solve their problems? I believe that the best in the business of this is Donald Miller for story branding. I'm one of only 600 people in the world that has his certification. And I truly do believe that when we apply story to business messaging, we cut through the clutter and confusion and allow people to understand what's in it for them. Did you know the average person jumps off a website in 4 seconds or less? And they
That
do
I
that because
believe.
they
Yeah.
don't know what they're going to get out of being on your website. So if your headline doesn't immediately grab them and explain the benefit that they get from looking further, you just paid money to get someone to come to your website who just left and didn't pay you any attention. So that's the first C, foundational, clear copy.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you're so right because that first thing buys you the next 30 seconds. So you have to grab them in those 4 seconds so that you can, get the next 30 and then maybe the next couple of minutes.
That's right. That's right. The second C is consistent branding. Don't we all love Canva? Don't we all, as entrepreneurs, love to make pretty, pretty designs and test it out and do all these things? The problem with that is that you will never get brand saturation if you are consistently presenting your brand differently across different platforms. You need to commit to a clear brand standard, a tagline, a color scheme, a logo, and everywhere you go is exactly where your brand goes. It's not enough just to have a brand and a logo. You need to make sure that it's clear, it's effective, and it's utilized consistently. Whether you're networking at a Chamber of Commerce meeting or whether you're promoting it online, brand awareness is hugely important. And really, branding is what puts the wind in the sails of marketing and allows the rest of your tactical marketing to go further. So, consistent branding is the name of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it's quite often you see entrepreneurs making changes and things like that. And now, of course, with AI, you've got, a whole new dimension that can be added to it. And sticking back to your roots of, what it is makes so much sense.
Yeah, yeah, it's important for sure. The third C is customer demographic. Once you know how to talk about your company and once you have developed your brand standards, then you need to take time to absolutely understand who that ideal customer is. I'm not talking male or female. I'm not even talking about just geographically of where they are. The psychographics. Why are they buying your product or service? What are they looking for online? What problem are they looking to solve that can be solved by your product or service? So, understanding that key component of your customer demographic is so crucial because then your messaging and your branding can be strategically positioned in front of this clear group of people. And now you're not hunting with a shotgun, guy. You're hunting with a rifle, as we say in Texas. And we want to be bullseye accurate on the target all the time to make sure that we're putting the right offer and the right brand in front of the right customer.
It's funny that you say that. I would have thought that you would have started with the customer first and getting that right. So then you have the copy that follows and targets the customer, and then consistent branding. Is there a big difference between that, or how do you see that?
Well, I saw it as if you understand what you do really well and you understand the problems that you solve for customers, then you can better identify who those customers are. So I always like to begin with the end in mind and say, if these are the products and services that I offer, then here's who I'm serving. And I find that it works well with my clients too. If
Hmm.
I just say, who's your target customer, they're probably going to name 3 or 4 different working avatars of who they could serve. But what we want are the actual people who are paying the bills. We'll actually do a reverse append on a database for our clients to say, show us who your top revenue generating customers are. Let's look and see what products or services they bought. And then let's create a lookalike model and go find more of those people.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so, all right. So, what's the last C?
The last C is channel management, and this looks different based on the category and size of business that you're in, of course. But what I mean by channel management in the book is what is your rinse and repeat process? It is so much more effective and less expensive to serve a current client again than to go hunt for a new client. So if you are effectively able to consistently serve your client with another product or service, an upsell, a value add, then you are creating a system of repeat business for yourself. And this is something that I think gets left out of a lot of marketing sometimes, Guy. We just have this turn 'em and burn 'em approach, but that's really not the value of business. The value of business is maintaining relationships with our clients so that you have long-standing commitments.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Although, certainly for some of the trades, you have a big lump of business, you put in a new HVAC system or whatever, and then you have maintenance after it. And if you don't go after that long tail of ongoing revenue, so to speak, that can really be a problem just for that. But it also, you lose out on getting potential references from that customer. Because I know, for our own home, I'm always looking for different service providers to do this or fix that. And if that's the case, I ask my neighbors first. And if they have a good referral, then they're going to be the ones that I'm going to go after.
Right, absolutely, right? And then if they treat you well in your home and you buy something from them, then if they offer you an opportunity for a maintenance plan or something like that, you're more inclined to listen to them. That
Mm.
upsell process, those membership opportunities, those are really important in the trades.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the problem that unfortunately that we all suffer with, and we hope we don't see, is the recession, the dreaded recession. And so, how do you recession-proof your marketing or their marketing so that they can really survive and thrive, even though the overall market is in a slight downturn?
I don't know that there is a silver bullet for protecting in a recession. We were all down in 2023. We were all down in COVID. But what you can do is establish that brand awareness very well. You can provide excellent customer service and you can create those upselling opportunities with your customer demographic so that you're not losing them to attrition or to a new shiny bright competitor. You're showing your brand consistency in the market where you serve. You're providing opportunities to upsell. You're getting creative about the calls to action that you have to offer. Maybe instead of a $5,000 offer in a recession, you scale back the deliverables and you offer a $500 offer. Be mindful of what the search data and the data science is telling you about what's happening in your industry and adapt to help your clients.
Yeah, yeah. And I think certainly adaptability is good. And I like your example of, instead of offering a 5,000, offer maybe a 500. So potentially you can get a lot more of the 500s as opposed to one bigger $5,000 deal. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fascinating. So now you talk about marketing transparency. What do you mean by that?
mean by that, Guy, is I believe that marketing should be work for hire. I believe that the client should always be in the driver's seat with the marketing tacticians advising and helping, or the strategists advising and helping. If you just look at tactics, but you overlook strategy, then I think we do our clients a disservice. So, in my opinion, the client should always own their website, be in control of the Google business profile, be able to hire and fire at will. Maybe it's my Texas roots coming out, but I'm a sucker for independence and freedom. So I think you should always be transparent about who owns what, and that it's work for hire at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it certainly provides more flexibility, which is critical.
It
And
does.
especially as an entrepreneur where things, you just need to have flexibility or the perception of flexibility so that you have more kind of freedom to be able to do what you need to do when you need to do that.
Well, absolutely. And then I think another aspect of transparency is the data. Like, are the campaigns working? Honestly, with AI and the progression that we're seeing of data science, I think the days of smoke and mirrors for marketing are gone. People expect more than magic fairy dust. They want to understand what the analytics are saying behind their paid ad campaigns. They want to know who the people are coming to their website, and they know the data makes it possible now. So give it to them. Be totally transparent regarding what's working and what's not working. No one wants to stay in a relationship with someone that isn't working. So, as the marketing expert, be able to say, this campaign didn't work. Let's
Mm.
pivot to something else.
Yeah, yeah, no, those conversations though for the marketer, they're always very hard when you have to go back and say, hey, this one didn't quite work the way we wanted, so need to try and pivot. So now one of the big things in marketing nowadays is AI. So how are you for your entrepreneurs? How are you leveraging AI to help them to achieve their goals and achieve their growth in a sustainable way?
We have some fantastic data science partners that have harnessed AI for the sake of serving ads more effectively, more targeted. We have fantastic pixels that we're putting on websites to see exactly who the target audience is that's coming to the website, whether or not that matches who we're going for online, that will automatically deploy email campaigns and direct mail campaigns. We are using AI to create whole plans for our clients that, of course, we're vetting ourselves to make sure it's in alignment with our clients' goals. But it just makes you more effective and efficient as a marketing company, especially if you are driven by data and transparency and analytics as we are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think, that's one of the interesting things nowadays about marketing, and certainly AI and analytics can help, is, the marketer today has to really be savvy with data. It's no longer where you can just, create some nice images and what have you and write some great copy. You have to do that, but you also have to know how to make sure that it's working and figure out whether it actually is working, and that's where the data comes in.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that's kind of fascinating in marketing, especially, and I was just on a panel with a woman CMO, and I asked her the question, so in this case, I'm a man, you're a woman. In marketing, most of the folks in marketing are women, probably 60%, maybe even higher. I've been in meetings. I was in a PRSA meeting, which is PR Society of America, I think it was, and it was probably 40 or 50 women and only three men. And so in the marketing team, it's mostly women. Now, on the other hand, in the trades, I would imagine that it's more probably men than women that are actually doing the work. We've been having some renovation here, and we haven't had one woman, on any of the teams, on any of the folks that have showed up. So tell us, a little bit about that. What's going on there? What are we missing? Is this just a male-dominated thing, or is there something else going on?
Actually, nationwide, the data suggests that more and more women are entering the trades. I'm in a plumbing group here in Texas, and I saw a picture of a gal that got her plumbing license through the state. I think for years, absolutely, it's a male-dominated industry. It's a very kinesthetic industry, but women are absolutely finding their roles. I was in the minority growing up in the trades, but I don't think that's necessarily the case anymore. You see a lot of second and third generation plumbers' daughters coming up, running the company, carrying on the family tradition. On the marketing side of things, I was personally mentored and still am by titans of marketing, some of which wrote the textbooks on marketing for some universities. So I think some of the most successful marketing mentors I've ever had were men.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Well, that's it's such a fascinating topic, and and just getting back as well. And you now you've been in private equity. It sounds like in some larger companies. And one of the other things that comes out is that it's quite often that the only woman at the board level or the C-suite is the marketing person, and then the rest of them are men. And and I think it's changing now, but it certainly has a long way to go yet. But it's certainly the case where, that woman in the C-suite has to really figure out how to fight and win and thrive in a male-dominated C-suite.
I never felt that way, even though I was in a male-dominated industry.
Hmm.
I always felt very respected. I always felt that if I remained objective and clear, that my voice was heard. I worked alongside some fantastic chief financial officers who were women. And growing up in a very male-dominated industry of the trades, I can honestly say that, again, a lot of my mentors in those boardrooms were some of the most supportive, ambitious men that I learned a lot from. So I think it's all about respect. I think it's all about staying true to your intrinsic gifts and talents. I am not a financial minded guru, as some of my female compadres were. Mental math is not my thing, but some of these fantastic CFOs, these ladies could crunch numbers like numbers I could never do. So I think we have to leave gender out of it and be more inclined to put the right person in the right seat at the right time and make sure that the talents are committed to growing the business and helping it thrive.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. I appreciate that. So getting back to actual execution, just curious, do you have an interesting case study that you can talk about?
So one of the case studies that we were blessed to be a part of last year was we were given a subset of national franchise locations and asked to draw down the cost per click through our proprietary data science backed real-time learning lead generating campaign. And over a 12-week period of time, we were able to drive down the cost per click from $500 per click to $79 per click across 30
Hmm.
locations. It was pretty amazing to see what AI was capable of doing.
Yeah, yeah. So how did the AI actually do it? What do you think was really pivotal in that case?
It continued to learn more about the target demographic and serve ads at the ideal time that that target demographic was showing signs that they were ready to make a buying decision.
Wow. Yeah, that's phenomenal to get it that far down, and also I'm imagining that the lead quality had to stayed the same, so that now you've just reduced your marketing by almost 80%.
It was exciting. It really
Yeah,
was. They
yeah,
got more calls. So, hey,
yeah, and got more calls. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Wonderful. So did the I'm just curious then, did your marketing budget go down at that point, or were you able to keep it the same and now get more calls?
They did keep it the same. They did keep it the
Very
same.
good.
Got more
All
calls.
right, that's
Absolutely.
definitely a win.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Win-win.
yeah, fantastic. So one last question. I could talk all day with you, but one last question before we close. So, what advice would you give to an up and coming new marketer?
To a new marketer, that's a great question. Learn everything you can. Think bigger. Find your niche, find your talents. If you love to do graphic design, lean in. Love graphic design. If you're more of a big picture thinker, then find ways that you can serve clients in a more generalized way. But one of the best things that I did for myself in learning my craft, and I'm always the student, I'm always learning, is to get experience in a variety of different industries so that you are able to understand business as a whole and not just look at business as a marketer. Look at it as an operator, as
Mm,
someone from the ownership seat. Because if you can have a conversation with someone who's looking at the business from an ownership or stewardship perspective, then you will be more effective at convincing them to put their money into marketing.
Yeah, and I think that is so true, and I think it's hard for a marketer to make that mind shift because they, like I said, they kind of think of as the money is not their money, and yet
Mhm.
once you think of it as being your money, it's coming out of your wallet, then all of a sudden that is, the mind perspective of the owner.
Changes, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Amber, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is going to be, really interesting, or it was very interesting, and appreciate it. So, where can people reach out to you and learn more about you and about Far Beyond Marketing?
Find us online at farbeyondmarketing.com. Get a copy of my international best-selling book on Amazon, The Far Beyond Marketing Guidebook. Hit us up on social media. We're all over the internet. We'd love to chat. We also do offer a free entrepreneur's toolkit on our website. So you can download an annual marketing planner, take a quiz about what marketing your business might be lacking, and get access to our course. If you don't want to hire an agency to do marketing for you, we'll give you all the tips and tricks. Just buy our course.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that's fantastic. So farbeyondmarketing.com and then of course on the various socials. Well, very good. Amber, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for the audience, definitely please stay tuned for other videos in this series on the backstory of AI and marketing. And if you'd like to, there's some really interesting thoughts and comments that you can find on my upcoming book, and you can find them at marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. And otherwise, if you like this episode, definitely rate it with 5 stars. Thank you so much. And Amber, thank you so much.